Hello, I am Dr. Aruna Saman, and in this video, we will be discussing reproduction in higher plants. We will be mainly focusing on the post-fertilization changes in a flower. We all know that the major changes occurring during sexual reproduction are formation of haploid gametes and fusion of gametes called fertilization. A diploid zygote is formed, which then undergoes embryogenesis to form new offspring. The three distinct stages during sexual reproduction are pre-fertilization, fertilization, and post-fertilization. In higher plants called angiosperms, flower is meant for sexual reproduction. It is a modified stem. Here we can see a list of major changes occurring in a flower during sexual reproduction. In my other two videos, we discussed the pre-fertilization changes and fertilization, which is double fertilization. In this video, we will be discussing post-fertilization changes in a flower. Our discussion will be under three headings: development of embryo, development of endosperm, development of root and seed. Here the four headings are once again shown: development of an embryo, development of an endosperm, the formation of seed from ovule, and formation of fruit from ovary. Though we are saying embryo development and endosperm development one after the other, in reality, these developments occur simultaneously, whereas the other cells of the embryo sac, such as synergids and antipodal cells, they eventually disorganize. Let us first see the development of diploid embryo. After fertilization, a diploid zygote is formed. It is a single cell structure, but this zygote undergoes embryogenesis to form a multicellular structure, which is called embryo. So what is the definition of embryogenesis? The process of development of zygote into an embryo is called embryogenesis. In this diagram, in this picture, we can see the embryo is developed. It is developed at the micropylar end. The embryo is plant in its early stage and it shows radicle, plumule and one or two cotyledons. We will see now the sequential changes occurring during the formation of embryo. The first cell is zygote, which develops a protective wall around it, and it is called oospore. The oospore divides transversely to form two-celled proembryo. The two cells formed are the larger micropylar side cell is suspensor initial cell and smaller chalazal end side cell is embryonal initial. So suspensor cell is larger cell and embryo cell is smaller cell. Suspensor cell is towards the micropylar end. Embryonal initial cell is towards the chalazal end. Now we will see first what happens to this suspensor cell. It will form suspensor. Suspensor is this filamentous structure. The suspensor cell undergoes repeated divisions, but only in one plane, transverse plane, and 6 to 10 cells are formed in a filamentous manner, and the structure is called suspensor. The uppermost cell of this suspensor towards the micropylar end is called haustorium, whereas the lowermost cell towards the embryonal cell is called hypophysis. The suspensor helps in pushing the embryo in the endosperm for the purpose of nourishment. So here we have seen what happens to the suspensor cell. Next we will see what happens to the embryonal cell. So the embryonal cell, it undergoes 3 successive mitotic divisions. But these divisions occur at right angles to each other. Resultant 8 cells are formed. These cells are arranged in 2 tiers of 4 each. So upper tier of 4 cells and lower tier of 4 cells. The lower tier of cells, these cells, they develop further to form hypocotyle and radicle. Whereas the upper tier of cells, they develop to form plumule and 1 or 2 cotyledons. When these changes are occurring, the lowermost cell of the suspensor, that is hypophysis, it undergoes divisions to give rise to part of the radicle and root cap. Now let us focus on only the cells in the upper tier. The cells in the upper tier now further divide in several planes and gives rise to a heart-shaped structure. And as said earlier, after that the plumule and cotyledons develop. Further enlargement of hypocotyle and cotyledons. If you remember, hypocotyle develops from cells of lower tier and cotyledons develop from cells of upper tier. These 2 cells, they divide and redivide and develop further. But as a result, entire embryo gets curved and a horseshoe-shaped structure develops. Let us recall all these changes once again. The first cell is zygote, developing protective wall around it, so it is called oospore. The transverse division, suspensor cell, a larger cell, and embryonal initial cell, a smaller cell, are formed. Suspensor cell gives rise to suspensor. The upper cell of this suspensor is haustorium and the lowermost cell is hypophysis. The embryonal cell gives rise to 8 cells by undergoing 3 divisions at right angle to one another. And out of these 8 cells, 4 cells are arranged in upper tier and 4 cells are arranged in lower tier. The cells of the upper tier give rise to plumule and cotyledon. The cells of the lower tier, they give rise to hypocotyle and radicle. The cotyledon and hypocotyle, they develop further and give rise to a much curved structure, and that is called horseshoe-shaped embryo. Once again, we will recall the zygote develops into oospore. It divides to form suspensor cell and embryonal cell. Suspensor cell gives rise to suspensor. It is filamentous structure having 6 to 10 cells. The uppermost cell is haustorium. Lowermost cell is hypophysis. The hypophysis later gives rise to part of the radicle and root cap. The embryonal cell gives rise to an octant. This octant has 4 cells in upper tier, 4 cells in the lower tier. The 4 cells of the upper tier, which are supposed to give rise to plumule and cotyledon, they divide and redivide to form heart-shaped embryo. The lower tier gives rise to hypocotyle and radicle. The cotyledon from upper tier, hypocotyle from lower tier, they further develop to form a curved embryo, which is horseshoe-shaped embryo. So far, we discussed the development of dicot embryo. What about monocot embryo? The development of monocot embryo is much similar to dicot embryo, especially up to the octant stage. After that, the difference appears. This is the monocot embryo. In this embryo, we can see a single cotyledon occupying terminal position. It is shield shape and is called scutellum. The plumule is lateral in position. The protective sheath of plumule is coleoptile and the protective sheath of radicle is coleorhiza. So here we have finished the embryo development. Now we will discuss the development of endosperm. The endosperm is a nutritive tissue in a seed. It develops after fertilization along with embryo. The triploid endosperm nucleus. It repeatedly undergoes division to form endosperm. The triploid endosperm nucleus PEN is thus the first cell of endosperm. There are three types of endosperm based on how it develops. These are nuclear type, cellular type and halobial type. Let us first see the nuclear type endosperm. It is the most common type of endosperm. It is observed in plants such as wheat, sunflower and coconut. The primary endosperm nucleus divides repeatedly mitotically. But the nuclear divisions are not followed by cytoplasmic divisions and hence wall formation does not occur. A large number of free nuclei are produced. A large vacuole develops in the center. This vacuole goes on enlarging, and as it enlarges, the nuclei get pushed towards the periphery. And later, cytoplasmic divisions occur. Wall formation takes place in between the nuclei and a multicellular endosperm is formed. Cellular type of endosperm. It is observed in nearly 72 dicot families and in plants such as balsam, petunia, adoxa, etc. The primary endosperm nucleus divides mitotically and every nuclear division will be immediately followed by cytoplasmic division. So, right from the beginning, we find a multicellular structure developing, that is endosperm, cellular type of endosperm. The third type, halobial type of endosperm. It is intermediate between cellular and nuclear type in its developmental changes. It is observed especially in the order Halobians belonging to monocotyledonous division, and the plant example we have to consider here is Asphodylus. The primary endosperm nucleus divides mitotically to form two nuclei. This division is immediately followed by cytoplasmic division and a wall is formed in the transverse plane. But the cells formed are unequal. The smaller chalazal cell and larger micropylar cell are formed. In each cell, the nuclear division takes place, which is free nuclear division. That means the nuclear division is not followed by cytoplasmic division now. As a result, in each cell, micropylar cell as well as chalazal cell, large number of free nuclei are observed. At later stage, in the micropylar chamber, the cytoplasmic divisions occur, wall formation takes place, and multicellular endosperm develops. This is Asphodylus plant in which halobial type of endosperm is observed. It belongs to order Halobians. It's a monocotyledonous plant. Let us now discuss development of seed. We will be discussing seed under three headings. Structure of a typical seed. Then two types of seeds, endospermic and non-endospermic. Development of a typical seed. Let us first go to the structure of a typical seed. A typical seed contains embryo and endosperm. Embryo has radicle, plumule and one or two cotyledons. Surrounding them is a thin papery covering called perisperm. But this perisperm is observed in only few seeds such as pepper and coffee. There are two seed coats. Outer seed coat is called testa and inner seed coat is called tegmen. There is an opening for the entry of oxygen and radicle to come out during germination. There are two types of seeds, endospermic and non-endospermic. Let us understand the difference between endospermic and non-endospermic seeds. Endospermic seeds are also called albuminous seeds and non-endospermic seeds are called ex-albuminous seeds. The main difference is fate of the endosperm. We have to see whether endosperm remains functional throughout the life of the seed or the endosperm finishes its function of supplying nourishment to the embryo once for all and then it becomes non-functional. These are the two types of seeds. We will understand their structure. The food reserve in the endosperm are gradually used by embryo in the endospermic seed. That means endosperm remains functional throughout the life of the seed, supplying food to the embryo in small portions. Gradually the food is used, that is important here. Whereas in the non-endospermic seed, the food reserve in the endosperm is at once completely taken up by the embryo and it is stored in its cotyledons. So it is completely taken up at once. In the endospermic seed, since endosperm is functional, it is very large and conspicuous. Here we can see the endosperm region. Whereas in the non-endospermic seed, since all the food is given to the embryo and it is stored in the cotyledon, the endosperm becomes thin and inconspicuous. The cotyledon in the endospermic seed is thin. Whereas here in the non-endospermic seed, cotyledon has stored food and therefore it has become thick and fleshy. Now the development of the seed. Let us see how this succulent, fleshy, soft ovule changes into very hard and protective seed. How the different parts of the ovule develop into different parts of the seed respectively. The zygote. After fertilization, the zygote becomes embryo. The primary endosperm nucleus. After fertilization, it becomes endosperm. The nucellus. After fertilization, the nucellus becomes perisperm, but it is observed in very few seeds, as we mentioned earlier. The integuments, which is outer and inner integument. After fertilization, these integuments change into seed coats. The outer seed coat becomes testa and inner seed coat becomes tegmen. The micropyle of the ovule, it also remains in the seed as aperture in the seed. Now we will see the development of fruit. Fruit is a matured fertilized ovary. The ovary undergoes changes due to hormones produced by developing seeds. Here we can see wall of the ovary has become wall of the fruit. It is called pericarp. This is a fleshy fruit. So pericarp is well differentiated into exocarp or epicarp, which is usually outer covering, leathery. The middle fleshy, edible, juicy, sometimes fibrous, mesocarp, and inner stony endocarp. These are the three layers of pericarp observed in fleshy fruit. These are observed in fruits like mango, coconut, etc. But there are fruits which are dry fruits such as maize, rice, wheat. In them, the pericarp is very thin and not differentiated into the layers such as ectocarp, mesocarp and endocarp. What is the significance of seed and fruit formation? The fruits provide nourishment to the developing seeds. The fruits protect the seeds in immature condition. The seeds serve as important propagating organs of plants. Seeds and fruits develop sometimes special devices for their dispersal, and thus they help in the distribution of the plants. Once again, we can see here the list of major changes occurring in flower during sexual reproduction. In this video, we discussed post-fertilization. We completed the development of embryo formation, development of endosperm, and development of fruit and seed. In my separate videos, I will be discussing pollination and reproduction in lower plants. This is the end of post-fertilization changes in a flower. Thank you.